This episode is for the next time that you look at your budget or your bank account and think there is no possible way that you can be eating that much food. We've all been there. If we aren't careful, that grocery budget can climb higher than we'd like. So, today we're going to talk about 6 different ways that you can cut down on groceries to get a little more wiggle room in your budget.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
I don't know that there's anything worse than looking at your budget and seeing the amount that you've spent on groceries or eating out or anything like that when you had a plan, but it goes over. It's such a sinking feeling. And then you look at it and it's like, okay, I need to really adjust and we need to cut back on everything and we need to stay within a certain amount. And when we can do that, it feels really, really good. But we need to know how much we are able to even spend on groceries. So, as we go through these 6 ways to cut down on groceries, some are going to be specifically on cutting down on groceries, but some are going to prepare you to be able to cut down on groceries too, because that is just as important. We need to know what we're intending to do to be able to actually execute it. So, number 1 is you need to know your budget. You need to know how much you are wanting to spend on groceries before you can start spending less. So, knowing your budget is going to be a huge factor in being able to cut down on groceries. If you have no idea, go back and look at the last several months of your bank account statements, even if it's just 1 month. Go back and highlight all of the grocery stops or the eating out stops, and maybe you even want 2 colors. Maybe all of the grocery stops are in green and all of the eating out is in blue. And you go through and you highlight all of those items and then you add up the totals. Take a look at it. If it absolutely scares you, then set a goal for yourself to spend less next month and do the same thing. Be more aware and add them all up at the end of the month. If you aren't tracking your budgeting, if you're tracking, then you can just do it as you go and you know exactly where you are throughout the month, which is super helpful. That's what we do. But if you are completely new to budgeting and you have not done any of the tracking or anything like that, you can still pull your bank statements and highlight these numbers and compare month to month to see if you're getting a little bit more aware and a little better at reducing your spending. And test yourself. You will see where you need to make those changes and what you're struggling with or what you're doing really well with. Number 2 is to make sure you are planning your meals the week ahead. This one is going to make a big difference in how you feel about your groceries because if you are just doing things on the fly, then you don't know where you're at. But if you are able to sit down, look ahead at your calendar, look ahead at your schedule for your family, anything like that, and just write down your meals. All you need to do is write down one dinner for each of the days and make sure you're adding in a fridge sweep or a leftovers day so you're not planning a different meal for every night. That's a huge tip so that things are a little bit more flexible as you go throughout your week. And then take 1 or 2 different breakfasts and 1 or 2 different lunches. And that is your plan for the week. It's super simple, but it gives you a plan so that when dinner rolls around that night, you can look at your plan and know exactly what you're going to have for dinner. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to come home after a long day at work and try and decide what's for dinner. You don't have to make any random stops at the grocery store because everything was purchased at the beginning of the week when you created your meal plan. Everything is set to go. All you have to do is execute. And sometimes it's faster to actually cook the meal that you planned than to sit and hem and haw about what you're going to have and then order something or go out. And it's just quicker and easier to cook what you have planned. And then you stay on plan and you stay within your budget. So this is a big tip to be able to make sure you are planning ahead of time. There's nothing worse, I don't think, than getting to the end of the night and you're tired and you're exhausted and now you have to decide what's for dinner because nothing is pulled out of the freezer. You don't have ingredients for anything you need to make and you are just tired and kind of cranky and you don't want to have to now figure out what you're going to feed your family. That is the worst. I do not like that situation. I get so crabby when I'm in that situation. So I have to make sure that I take the time to plan ahead so that we can actually follow through with our meal plan because it just makes the rest of the week flow smoother and it saves us more money because we're not door dashing because that is going to really increase the cost of our food and groceries throughout the month if we're relying on DoorDash versus planning ahead. So that one is a big one. Number 3 is to shop from yourself first. So before you even create your meal plan, take a look at what you have in the house. Look at your fridge, look at your freezer, look at your pantry, and see what you have and what meals you could build with what you already have in your home. Because I would bet that it's very likely you have some protein sources in your freezer, whether it's fish or chicken or ground beef or maybe you're a vegetarian, maybe you've got beans and other sources of protein that you are focusing on. And I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what those might be off the top of my head, but you probably have some things in your freezer that you could build a portion. Wow, I can't talk. Portion of your meal within your freezer. Maybe you've got frozen veggies in there. Maybe you've got rice in your pantry, or you've got potatoes that need to be used up, or you've got canned goods in your pantry or in your fridge. Maybe you've got different things in there that need to be used up. Maybe you've got a head of lettuce that you can build a salad with, or you've got different veggies that you can chop up and put into a stir fry or top on that salad. Things like that that could be used. Use those first. So before you even create your meal plan, look at your household items, your fridge, freezer, and pantry, and see what you have on hand already that does not need to be purchased that you can start building meals with for the following week. And use those up, or even this week if you need to, but use those up first, and that will help reduce your grocery bill as well. We've always got more on hand than we realize. And then number 4 is to shop from a list and don't stray from your list. This one can add up very quick. If we build our grocery list and then all of a sudden we start just shopping as we're walking through the stores and we walk through the aisles and we start seeing things and we start tossing them into the cart, that is a no-no if we're trying to save money. So if we need to build our list at home, that is what we need to do. I am a huge advocate of staying home, making your meal plan, building your list, and then I actually use an app called Google Keep where I can build my grocery list. I write down everything I need, I turn it into a checklist format, and then I sort it all in the order of the grocery store. So all I need to do is walk in and I start walking through the grocery store and checking things off as I'm throwing them into my cart because the grocery list is set up in the order of how our grocery store is set up inside. So it makes it really easy to go in, stick to my list, get everything into the cart that I need, and go straight to the checkout without darting into other random aisles that I don't need. So when you are trying to stick to your meal plan and you're trying to stick to your budget, it's really important to shop from a list so that you get everything you need because you've thought it through ahead of time. You're not just doing things on the fly. So you have everything you need. So you only have to shop once a week. And then if you don't stray from your list, you're not buying a bunch of random odds and ends and upping your cost here. So impulse purchases can be a huge factor in food and groceries and like when we were getting kind of antsy for those snacks or those sweets and the treats and things like that, just make sure that you are shopping from your list and stick to your list. Number 5 is to find whole foods that can be used in a variety of ways. So, this actually is something that can help save you money And it also helps make cooking easier because you're cooking with similar items and you are able to chop things up and then you can use them over several days rather than having to chop different things every single night. You're just making it easier on yourself. So maybe think about doing like lettuce and having that for salads and tacos and burgers and rice bowls for the week, or have a bunch of beans and you can use them in burritos, in rice dishes, in casseroles. And I know I'm Minnesotan and I said casseroles instead of hot dish. It's okay. I sometimes use hot dish, but not always. Sometimes I do use casseroles. Think about sweet potatoes. You can use sweet potatoes. You can get them for super cheap. They're very nutrient dense, and you can use them in things like breakfast hash, or you can roast them whole, or you can slice them into oven fries and do burgers or black bean burgers or whatever you want to do. It just makes it really easy when you find those whole foods that you can use in a variety of ways, and it saves you money. And then number 6 is never shop hungry. This is a big one because if you go into the grocery store hungry, you are going to come out with a lot more things in your cart than you needed to. So make sure before you go into the grocery store, you have a little snack so that you are satisfied before you go in, or even consider if you are in a location where you can order online and then just pick up. That also can help the impulse purchases where you just order everything and then drive up and they bring it to your cart, especially if you have kids. I don't use this feature that a lot of grocery stores have, but I know people with little kids definitely do, or if you do have a really strong impulse purchase habit right now, maybe consider doing this for a while until you get out of that impulse purchase habit. And that is what you could do to help you cut down on groceries, especially when your budget is tight. So I will recap those for you so that you have a quick list and you can get on with your day and hopefully you spend less money on groceries because that's what we all want to do. So, number one, make sure you know your budget. You need to know how much you can spend so that you know what you need to stay within. Number two, plan your meals a week ahead. Do not make yourself plan the night of because that's harder and you'll end up spending more money and it's more stressful. Number three, shop from yourself first. Take a look at your fridge, freezer, and pantry and try and use up those items before you start building meals that you need to buy items for. Number four, shop from a list and don't stray from your list. Try to reduce those impulse purchases and have your grocery list set up before you go into the store for the whole week so you don't have to stop multiple times throughout the week. Number five, try to find whole food items that can be used in a variety of ways. You can buy them more in bulk and be able to use them in many meals across the board. And then you can just chop once and use them over the course of several days. It's going to make it super easy for you and less stressful. And then number six, never shop hungry. Make sure you are having a little snack beforehand or ordering it for pickup so you don't even have to go in if you're hungry. Things like that. It's all the little tips and tricks that you can do to try and reduce that spending and make sure you go in and check your bank statements, know how much you are spending each month, do some comparisons, and you will start to see the progress as you are more intentional with these different habits of trying to reduce your grocery budget and build more flexibility in your budget so that you have room for other things, whether it's paying off debt or putting it to a different sinking fund to save that money for something bigger later on where we're wasting it on things that we don't need right now. And instead, we can put that money to a better use so that we can reduce the financial stress as we are also reducing the decision fatigue as we are trying to find out what we are having for our meals. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I will catch you back here on the next episode.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.